Serving podcast. How are you?
Hey, Chris, I'm doing good. You doing well today, man?
I am.
Good.
It's
good.
fun that we have the bloopers before this that we can laugh about it and then get on here.
Nobody will know
Right.
what got edited out of that start.
Right. Man, the weather is blooming like crazy, and I am getting
Blooming, literally. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and my allergies are picking up like crazy, so I apologize if I sound like a foghorn. But I'm super excited because with these things that are changing and with all the things that are going on, I'm super excited about so many changes that are coming.
No, it feels like spring is here, and
Yeah.
hope abounds.
Yes.
Something like that, right?
Right?
Oh man. Yeah.
So,
Hey, the signups for the peer-to-peer mentoring groups, so the Uncommons,
one of the big ones.
that is moving right along. If you are interested in a group, you can jump over to Uncommons with an S, uncommonsnetwork.com.
Yep.
And you can sign up there. And
if you need your name called out, like Andy Van Horten and Virgil Bremer, like if you're listening to this, make sure you get on there.
Well, I knew about Andy. So Andy, you've got a spot saved, but still jump on.
Yeah, jump on. Send us an email.
But Virgil, I didn't know. So
Virgil.
Let's do it.
Jump on there.
All right, come on. All right.
And if we need to call your name out, you just send me an email. I will call you out.
And we might be editing something else out. We'll see. Right. But seriously, this is it's basically like a mastermind opportunity at, where 10 to 12 of local leaders get together and then just talk about what's going on, build relationships and work through issues in business and leadership and just hold each other accountable toward growth, not just professionally, but personally too.
Yeah.
And it's really just an excellent opportunity.
And this is like the budget on this is not huge, which is awesome. So anybody can get in. We do have a cost to it because there is some logistics things that we're going to have to make sure we can cover. And so, it's not huge, but if you're at all interested, make sure you reach out because there is definitely opportunity for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is the things that you and I have already gained the benefit from in our groups that we are looking forward to passing along to some of these new business owners that don't have these connections. Because you and I have talked multiple times, like there's a time and a place where many entrepreneurs feel like they're on an isolated island by themselves. And this is a great opportunity for you to vent as well as to be able to learn and just, man, it's just, and that organic, natural run with it is just amazing.
Yeah. Can I throw in a literary reference?
If you want to.
C.S. Lewis, great author, right?
Yeah, right.
Wrote a series called Perelandria, and I think it's the second book. There's a world that is full of islands, but they're floating islands. So occasionally the islands come together. And I was like, that's exactly what this group is.
Is the islands coming together?
We feel like we're on these separate islands, but it's actually islands coming together, linking arms, linking together, moving toward the future together.
That's awesome.
Pulling the best out of one another and fighting for each other's highest good. It's great. It's great.
Right.
So, yeah,
which is what we're all about here, right?
Right.
This is just amazing.
Right. The membership is $50 a month. Goodness, most of us can just expense that easily. It's not a big deal. So, uncommonsnetwork.com. Sign up. That's the bottom line.
Sure. We'll have that.
You're speechless.
We'll have that in the show notes too, won't we?
I think so.
Okay, good.
We should. But also jump over to leadingandserving.com. Leave us a rating and review.
If you can't find it, send us an email.
Share the word. Yeah. We'd love to hear from you. Okay.
So what are we talking about today?
Advice that sounds good on the surface. But Chris, if you dig into it deeper, it just might not be good advice. So
I think we've all bumped into a little bit of this.
Yeah, I think so. It's advice that sounds good.
Yep.
And in some ways, I think is very applicable. But in other ways, it really could hurt us.
Right.
In significant ways.
Right.
And I think the misapplication is probably bigger than the actual good application. Does that make sense? So our advice today, fake it until you make it.
Yeah, that was one that popped up.
Have you ever said it?
I totally have.
Oh, I have.
Yeah.
Thinking back, I'm hoping more sarcastically.
Yeah, right.
As a musician getting through that one part of the song that I was like, yeah, I got about a 50-50 chance, and I make it through, and somebody's like, man, that sounded good. I'm like, yeah, fake it until you make it.
Right.
And so it doesn't mean that I didn't prepare.
Well, and early on in my career too, somebody told me to do that. They were like, yeah, just fake it till you make it. And I was like, really? Like, it's never sat well.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, break that down. So tell me, I think that their intention in telling me that was to try to learn through the process until I could get better.
Yeah.
But I'd honestly think that, everybody else around me knew that I was not at that skill set.
Right.
So it's like, it just call it for what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you think ethics, fake it till you make it is really bad advice.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is an interpreter for the deaf, and they have a very strong code of ethics. Mm-hmm. That they don't take situations, they don't take jobs that they're not qualified for.
Oh, really?
So like, I think they've changed some of the regulations now, but like at one point she wouldn't even have the certification to go into a court, into a legal setting and interpret.
Really?
I think they've changed the regulations. Maybe, don't quote me on that, but that's a situation that she's like, no, I will not. I've not trained in that. Mm-hmm. Her vocabulary is amazing. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not just biased. It's legit.
Right.
She's good. But she still will I will not take that. And there are certain medical situations or, there's just different things that she's like, nope, I'm not going to touch that because, I'm not going to fake it. I mean, have you seen the funny YouTube videos of the interpreters for the deaf? That are just like I think there's one like a state government, maybe Florida.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
That popped up where the guy got paid.
Had no clue what he was doing.
And didn't know what he was doing?
Yeah. That's not faking it till you make it.
No, not at all. Oh my goodness. That's horrible.
That, go back to musicianship, American Idol's proof that you can't fake it till you make it.
Right.
But even for your, for Stillwater, for, general contracting,
right.
Maybe you've done some little, handyman projects around the house. I know how to install a ceiling fan. Let's see, like I even worked on finishing my basement. Mm-hmm. I did some of the framing. I did one piece of drywall and then hired that out.
Right.
I know how to paint. I know how to do, but I would never take a job. Like if you were like, dude, we've got an extra job. Could you help? Could you lead the project to finish this basement? Mm-hmm. Like, no, I can't. No. I mean, my house is one thing, but I'm not going to faking it until you make it. That doesn't work
fly.
As far as skill sets go.
Yeah.
And ethics go. Right. Yeah. And so, so I think the opposite of that is knowing your limitations, knowing your boundaries,
right?
Knowing what you can and can't do is actually critical to your success.
Right.
Not faking it until you stumble upon success.
Well, and I don't know about you, Jason, but like these little phrases and stuff, like another one that we've talked about is like the get rich quick schemes, like,
oh yeah.
Like many of these things, like you kind of initially are like, something doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? Like, and at first I thought it was my skepticism because I have a tendency to be a little skeptic. But I think some of it's just the natural boundaries of where I set myself and, hey, something's not right.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like these things, nothing, a lot of the stuff takes work and takes time. It's just part of it. It just is what it is. Like to be faking it till you make it is really not gonna, if you're learning through the process, then just call it what it is. You're learning through the process. You know what I mean? And when you get to the point where you're a skilled laborer, it's very apparent for those that understand it.
Right. Right.
And for those that have made money over time and have done an excellent job, they know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That the overnight schemes, the midnight madness of ads that run through on the TV, like back in the day, like that stuff just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for it. Like, the only person that's making money on that situation is the guy that's advertising.
Right.
He's like, buy my book.
Yeah. Because shortcuts you just have to circle back around and do the work later.
Right.
In some way or another. And maybe you crash and burn, or maybe you don't. But, we've watched how many different for-profits and even nonprofits I've seen go through that phase of exponential growth. early on where it's just like off the chart growth. And then they hit that certain level where they're like, oh man, we have no systems, processes. I've got a team of 50 people and I mean, covered health insurance or benefits or,
right.
We're still using this, accounting software that can't even handle a tenth of what we do, but we've not had time because the growth has been so exponential. Right. That's get rich quick overnight, but then you have all these headaches on the back end.
Right.
Versus building it step by step by step,
being methodical,
covering it along the way. I mean, so yeah, some of that fake it till you make it is just kind of like, put in the work, put in the time, do what you need to. And so, but I think there is a good side of it. I think there is a good side in terms of what can we fake until we make it. Are there some things that are good?
I don't know. Are you referring to something?
I think of confidence.
Oh,
okay. In that, I've gone through the work. I've got the certification. I've got the degree. I've got the whatever. Somebody's hired me. Whether it's your own job or you've been hired by a big company, you've kind of found like I'm on the path to my dream job. Oh my goodness, I don't know if I can do this. Right. You've put in the work. You've put in the hours, and then that fear of failure creeps in. Right. Or you realize that, oh well, I love these 5 parts of my job, but there's a couple over here that I'm not so great at. I don't feel confident there. And so faking that confidence of knowing, okay, I'm going to trust in my education. I'm going to trust in where I've been to know that I can take this next step.
Yeah. And with that particular situation, right? Like that you're talking about, like you're not just showing up and on the job and trying to do it, faking it till you make it. You've actually put energy into the mix and got a degree and you're
standing on a foundation.
You're standing on some sort of foundation.
Yeah.
When you say fake it till you make it, I always immediately attribute it to the points where you haven't got the education or the information behind you. But with those situations, man, I agree. I think that at that point, it's a confidence issue and not as much of a knowledge issue because you have some knowledge.
Right.
And at that point, you just need to empower yourself and recognize it for what it is.
Right.
And that confidence is totally a key issue. I mean, and that's truly with anything, right? I mean, even with the things that you and I do every day, like it's not always, is my confidence always perfect? No. You know what I mean? Like there's sometimes I go, I'm not sure if I want to do that, but there's many a times where it's like, well, I know I stand behind my product. I know I stand behind my guys. And I know that we can deliver a quality product and that I'm confident in.
Right.
I'm not sure this is going to go smooth, but you know what? We're going to try to make it as smooth as possible.
Right. Right. So to me, I think the good part of faking it till you make it is what do I need to put in place to ensure my success, even when I'm not feeling like I'm going to make it.
Yes.
And so looking for that mentor, looking for that coach, looking for somebody who can pour into you. Maybe it's somebody at your job, in your company that you're like, hey, help me out here.
Right.
I mean, or just sit down and ask them questions like, what did you do in your first couple of months?
Right.
I mean, you've been here 10 years. You've been here 5 years. You know, you're just a step ahead of me. What did it take for you to take that step?
Right.
And just talk to people, gain that confidence. And so that's what I think the good side of fake it till you make it.
Which brings me back to our mentoring product, the mentoring / the groups.
Yeah. The mastermind
groups.
Peer-to-peer mentoring groups.
Like, cause it's like, not that anybody business is the same as mine, but there's many times I've gone, oh, I don't like that idea. Oh, they're struggling with that. Okay. Maybe it's normal that I'm struggling with my ideas. You know what I mean? So it's like, but it's a great place for you to help understand that other people are going through similar things and other people, and also I think that I use our group that we use, that I go to is as a moment of, hey, you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Like, just so you know, I have confidence in you and who you are. And like, just because I've sat around here and listened to you long enough that I try to encourage people in our group. And I look forward to encouraging people in the group that I'm in for this next mastermind group. So I'm like, I use that time as a great time to encourage those around us, because I think that everybody goes out in the world and the world is tearing people up left and right.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I have confidence in the people that are around me, and, to the point where I am offering, telling my customers, hey, you need to call this guy because he knows what he's talking about. I mean, those people, the educational side of things is just amazing.
Right.
Right. So, I think encouraging people and having that knowledge and then working with the confidence is great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think maybe one of the other bad sides of this is in terms of relationship, transparency, and authenticity.
Yep.
Right. That if you've got a team and you want to celebrate them well, are you genuinely celebrating them? Because if relationships are faked,
right,
people are going to pick up on that in a heartbeat, and
sure.
you lose credibility and influence as a leader, and or you take something, without having the integrity or the transparency to say, hey, revenues are low right now, and that's going to affect our business in these ways, versus going in and just making blanket changes that seem irrelevant, and they have no idea why these changes are being made, and you're like, oh, everything's great, but we need to change this. What? That doesn't make sense, right? And so I think in terms of authenticity, integrity, relationship, you can't fake those things.
Right.
Those are the things that are seen through immediately and create a sense of distrust.
I agree.
And so, yeah, I mean, man, we can go down some roads with this that are probably not healthy. That's why I was kind of thinking, like, the bad side of this advice is bigger than
the good.
And it's stuff that'll crash and burn.
Well, and I mean, even the good side of it has caveats in the fact that, there's some work that's been put into the mix. It's more of a confidence side of things. Is less about the whole just trying to put up a facade. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know of a leader that was in a construction industry similar to yours. They were doing like metal buildings and big, massive structures for farming and dairy and ranching and and processing type plants. And the boss was really hovering over this leader with a bid that he had in with a local dairy farmer, I think it was. And the boss was just hovering in ways that have never hovered before. And finally, and this is a customer that they've done work with in the past.
Yeah.
Finally, the customer goes, I'm getting some red flags in the community that people are saying about the company. And I love you guys. You done great work, but I think I'm going to have to go with somebody else this time. And immediately the boss goes, okay, walks out of this leader's office and announces to the entire company, we're closing. Friday is our last day. Everything hinged on that bid. And when they didn't get it, he had to close by Friday. And everybody was, 2 days and done. I mean, it was like Wednesday.
Oh my
kind of idea. There was absolutely no transparency of what was going on, and this whole fake it till you make it kind of ended it.
Wow.
And people were burned, people were hurt. Some tailspins resulted because of a lack of transparency and honesty of where the company was at.
Wow.
And so it can take us down ugly roads. It really can.
Yeah.
But there is a healthy road in there. And so just kind of, I guess the challenge would be to moderate your thoughts. Really be in tune, be self-aware. We've talked about that a number of times. What are my tendencies as a leader? Who, how do I react in certain situations? But to really monitor ourselves and be self-aware of where we can legitimately have confidence. We're not necessarily faking it, but we're just, okay, I know I'm going to rest on other things than how I feel in this moment. I'm going to put my trust in that foundation that I'm standing on. Right. Versus, I've never done this before, but yeah, go ahead and pay me $100,000 and I'll get it done.
I'll get it figured out.
And then, you YouTube all night and start the job the next morning. That's not
right.
That's not what we're talking about. But yeah. So if you've heard some other advice in life that you're like, this just doesn't sit right, we'd love to hear from you. Shoot us a message at leadingisserving.com, and we'll pick it apart. We'll dwell on it, pick it apart.
Yeah. And let us know your thoughts on it.
And we know that Chris will call you out by name
at
this point. So, so send us a message.
Yeah. Oh, you guys want to be in my mastermind group? I'll call you out by name.
That's right. Oh, man.
That's too funny.
Yeah. Does our group meets this week? No, next week. Next week.
Yeah.
Okay. So they got a week and a half to prepare for this.
Right.
All right, y'all. Thanks for listening.
Have
Thanks
a great
for tuning in. And again, drop by leadingandserving.com or uncommonsnetwork.com and sign up for a group or send us a message today. Appreciate y'all.
Thanks.
Take care.